Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Circle of the World podcast, where we discuss Joe Abercrombie's First Law series. I am one of your hosts, Lord Chamberlain Jeffrey, and here are my co-hosts.
Archlector George.
And Harrison, the Adeptus Historical.
Today we are covering Before They Are Hanged, the second book in the original trilogy, and for this episode we'll be covering Cheap at the Price, To the Edge of the World, Before the Storm, and Questions. So, let's get started. As usual, I gotta thank you all for your support. And just to remind you all to follow us on social media and our YouTube page and visit our website. Right, George? We have the website that's up and running, but still under construction.
It is still. It will always be under construction, in beta, as the kids call it.
I might just pay a dude that codes just to fucking take it.
No, we're not doing that, Jeff. Well, when people donate $150 to us on Patreon,
Right.
Then we can afford to pay the guy.
That's true. Right, that guy. I forgot about him. Right. Well, this episode's going to be a fun one because Harrison's got a lot to say. But we'll get to that in a minute. We'll move on to our first chapter read-through, and it's Cheap at the Price. Here we have returned to our point of view from Glokta, our boy, who was the superior of Dagoska. And he is eating... He's in the middle of his delicious breakfast, which is porridge and honey, right? And
I think it's just soup this time.
It's just soup? Oh, that's right.
He's having dinner.
Yeah. And there's a knocking at the door, and Barnum is like, you have a visitor.
He's like, yeah, obviously. I just heard them knock at the door.
So he's like, well, who is it? And he's like, it's... and then he doesn't get a chance to answer. It's Archlector Salt. He just walks in like, it's his house.
He just walks right in and he's like, don't get up. And Glokta's like, no, I wasn't gonna, but
And then Barnum was like, can I get your eminence? And he's like, get out!
Yeah. Poor Barnum.
Poor Barnum. He's just getting the shit end of the stick. Literally. He cleans up Glokta's shit.
And this guy just comes in and screams at him and he's like, okay.
Mm-hmm. And Salt is
presumably Barnum lives there as well.
Yeah, or like in adjacent
been kicked out of his own home.
Mm-hmm. Well, I imagine he probably lives in adjacent quarters, right?
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
He lives in the adjacent shitty apartment. He's got like a little doggy door.
Mm-hmm. And
Bottom.
Harrison, do it.
Bottom.
Love it. And Salt is upset. There's the peasant uprising over in where is it? Near Keln.
Oh, yeah.
Near Keln. And it's this guy, the Tanner, who's like causing a lot of ruckus, apparently. And they need to send someone from the Inquisition over there. And Glokta's like, well, I guess that's me, so I'll start packing. He's like, not you, I need you for something else. By the way, Dagoska's fallen. He's like, oh, okay. Cool. Sounds like you were going to say something, George?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. And apparently the Gurkish were let in by a prior arrangement, somebody treasonous over there, and the Union forces were massacred, but the natives and the mercenaries would... the natives were spared, and the mercenaries were merely enslaved. Okay, Salt. Jesus Christ. And General Visbrook killed himself rather than be taken prisoner, which is, even Glokta's like, I didn't think he had it in him. He ordered his body burned so that no one would be able to profane his remains.
Nom nom.
And then also there's an envoy from the Emperor of Gurkul seeking peace. And it's Glokta's duty to find out what he wants.
Well, hang on. We can't forget about this. It's a very interesting part, which I think it speaks really well to how societies work, which is much like this. It's like, yeah, he killed himself. What an honorable man. He will be recognized in the Lord's round later. And Glokta looked at himself like, I'm a war hero. I survived. And somehow I'm not fucking recognized. Whatever.
Right. Yeah, he said, well, a horrible death with honor is far preferable to a long life in obscurity. Of course.
Yeah.
That's true.
Unfortunately, it's accurate.
Yeah, and I like the part where Glokta is like, an envoy, peace, and then Salt is like, this room seems rather small for an echo.
I love that like Prime Salt is back. This is Salt just back to his old fucking dickhead ways.
Yeah,
Like in the
for
last
real.
chapter where we saw him, he was like so magnanimous with Glockter. He was like, "Oh, well done. Sit down, have a glass of wine, and all this."
Yeah,
And now
he
it's
was-
just like, I'm gonna burst into your fucking house after you got home from work, and you'd be like, "Right, this is how things are."
Yeah, it went from Glockta, come on in, to now Glockta, where the fuck?
You crippled bastard!
Oh, and it's funny that here he's like, Dagazka is, really never worth much to us. We cost us more than we made from it. The fucking worthless rock. And then he's like, although Glockta's like, of course. Although, wonder why we even bothered fighting for it. But anyway. Oh, and here Salt drops a little bit a tidbit of some news where he's like, Glockta, I'm gonna keep you as a superior, even though there's no more Dagazka, because now you'll be superior of Adjua. And Glockta's like, but isn't that what Goyle's for? And he's like, yep. And that's gonna be the same way. It's gonna continue to be that way. And he's like, so so now they're gonna
He's doing
share
that typical
responsibility.
asshole boss thing that make
Yeah.
make two people compete for something.
Yeah.
Absolute dickhead.
Well, he is a dickhead, but also like Salt's. I feel like this is a super smart move for Salt because obviously Goyle wants his position, and now he's thinking Glockter's kind of in a prime position. He's all popular, even though he got what he wanted because he held the Gaska and blah 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 blah. So he's just like, I'll just put them against each other. That'll be easy. That's a pretty smart move. They get to both keep their power and then start fighting each other rather than delve into whatever Salt's up to.
Right. Not Glockta, Salt's probably thinking at the end of it, one of them, whoever survives, will at least be in a weakened position, I imagine.
Right. Yeah, or he can place the blame on whichever one and the other one gets promoted or whatever.
Right.
So
he's going to handle the responsibilities of certain tasks while Goyle is going to be the senior partner and continue running the department. And his first task, is going to find out what the envoy wants, and if he wants anything more than peace, then for Glockta to root it out. I do want to point out his terrible joke where he was like, perhaps it will simply demonstrate that one of you is superior to the other. And then right before he leaves, he's like, please, Glockta, find yourself some better quarters. Superior of Adjua living like this? It's an embarrassment.
What a dick.
He just got promoted. Hey, George is the equivalent of your boss. Before you move to your new place, he comes over there to your house and he's like, to think I gave you a management position and you live in this filth.
Yeah.
You ain't broke, bitch. Move on up. And okay, so then we cut down. Sorry, we cut to a bit of a time jump. And Glockta is meeting with the Emperor's envoy. His name is Tulkas, and he's a different kind of person compared to the last envoy that Glockta had beheaded. And he even points it out. He's like, I hope I fare better at your hands than the other one that my people sent to you.
Yeah. And Glockta's like, ooh, he's got a sense of humor.
Yeah, he was like, well, it depends on what kind of tone you take. He's like, And he's like, Shabed al-Islik Brai was always confrontational, and his loyalties were mixed. He talks about how he was more of a church man than he was for the state.
Damn Catholics.
Okay. And Glockta was like, I thought church and state spoke with one voice. And he's like, there's some that... Yeah, but like some people
He's thinking like maybe not so much in the future.
Right. He's like, the priest should kind of just be priesting, and the governing should be to the governors, And
I do find that quite interesting that you see like this kind of schism with Gurkul, because up till now we just assumed that Uthman is just Kalul's puppet.
Yep.
Or we could assume that he's got a certain degree of power, but Kalul's really pulling the strings. Whereas here we've got actually proof that maybe the Emperor isn't as bad as I think he is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he even talked about how, the Glockter's like, oh, they want peace. The great Uthman al-Dosh wants peace. And he was like, listen, he's got to keep up appearances, all right? Better to be feared than... It'd be nice to be loved, but it's better to be feared with how huge the Gurkish Empire is. Right. And like you said, George, I absolutely love how there's like this exposition on the Gurkish that kind of came out of left field. Right here at the closer to the end of this book, we're like, oh, wait a minute, there's more going on there. The Emperor doesn't particularly want to be under the thumb of the Prophet.
Possibly.
Possibly. Well, it sure seems like the Emperor is trying to undermine the Prophet.
Or he's at least trying to get out of the war.
Yeah, he's trying to get out of it. I feel because the way he talks here, Tulkas, is, and I love the way Joe writes this, he's very subtle and suggesting that things are not as nice in Gurkle as they, they're not as powerful as they seem, and that they, the Prophet he has no business being involved with the Emperor, and that the last guy, the reason he had problems because he was with the Prophet. I'm with the Emperor, and he's like, listen, this is important. We need to have peace. Like, I don't know. There's just a lot of subtext here for him.
You basically get the sense that peace. This war isn't well loved in Gurkle. Like the average person isn't for this,
right? Because how hard it was to capture Dagaska.
Yeah,
the priest was talking all that shit. Like we're gonna breeze right over them walls. 2 months later. And I like how Tulkas is like, God is great, of course, but he is no substitute for good planning. It's like, a man of logistics, a man after my own heart. And then they talk about how Tulkas has lost two sons in the wars. The first war at Ulriach, where West was, and the other one at the siege of Dagaska. He was like he led the charge of the first breach was made, and Glokta was there. He remembered that. He was like, "Oh, that was And he even gives condolences to Glokta for his losses in the war. What he lost, physically and honestly, part of his humanity. And I think they connect here. You could tell that Glokta and Tulkas, they're cool. They like each other. And even though he's like, okay, so it wouldn't look right if we go for peace after you guys took Dagaska. And he's like, all right, well, I'll arrange that. We'll give you a dozen chests, and these chests are going to be fantastic chests. They're going to be the most fragrant ebony wood worked with golden leaf carried by bowing slaves, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, and what's going to be in these chests?
Boxes.
They're going to be empty. It's just like you can just say they contained whatever you want. Gold, jewels, whatever.
But that is an interesting move because you could just say we've accepted this, these reparations and, save face.
Exactly. So that's a smart move, right? And then before Glokta, turns away to go report back to, what Tulkas wanted, he shakes his hand. Tulkas, offers to shake his hand, and Glokta takes it. And that's the end of the chapter. That was it. So, what do you guys rate that chapter?
I'm gonna go with a 6.5.
Ooh, 6
because
and a knuckle?
there is, 6 and a knuckle. I think there is I just love Tulkas, like the way he speaks and the really subtle world building that Joe has here, and there's a lot of subtext. And it's nice to see Salt back, but also it is a fairly short chapter, and that's like the highlight is Tulkas. So, I'll leave it at that.
I think I'm gonna just go up a tiny bit from that and say a 7, just because I love Salt. Everything that you said plus Salt is excellent. He's always brilliant, and again, always love the voice.
You have a man crush on Salt.
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason for that. He's fucking insider.
I'll give it a 6 out of 9 fingers for all your reasons. It's a nice exposition. Get to see a new character from Gurkle. He seems like a cool guy. Hope nothing but the best for him. And obviously Salt and Barnum. It's a great combo. So 6 out of 9. So we'll move on to our next segment, which is best meme of the week. Georgie, take it away.
Okay, so this week, I think this is a returning meme of the week winner as well. This is Words Won't Save You on Reddit, and it's a long one, so I'm not going to read it all out, but it's every day is Fuck Leo Day for good reason, so go and check that and the link in the description and on our website.
And that is a spoiler, right?
Yes,
it's
very heavy spoilers for everything, every single book in this series, so If you're reading along with us, don't click on that. If you already have, I'm sorry.
Immediately goes to it. Are you mad?
Yeah.
They just click the link before they even listen to the episode.
Yeah, we get like an email like, you bastard, you spoiled the whole series for me. I'm like, what?
Have we gotten one email? I don't think we got one email.
Nobody sent us an email. I used to say that at the end, like, just send us an email with your questions, but nobody ever did. So
Circle
But
the
hang on,
world.
but
Circle
we
the
have
world
gotten emails.
podcast.
Just we have gotten emails. They're not like question emails.
We got emails
that's
from
true.
no listeners. We got emails from like Buzzsprout and other things, but not from.
No. We've gotten emails from. We had a couple artists that we've talked to and stuff.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, never mind. I was wrong. My bad.
Anyway, yeah. So that's your words won't serve you on Reddit, and thank you very much for that.
Thank you, George, for that nice meme. And now we'll move on to our second chapter read through, which is To the Edge of the World. And this one, we're back with our lovely fellowship, and they've gotten through the mountains, right? It took them, 9 days, I think it was? And they get to the other side of the valley, and they come across a couple of farmers, apparently. Pioneers. People that decided that are descendants from whenever they decided to get the fuck out of the old empire. And Baez, Pharaoh's about to shoot him with a couple of arrows, and he's like, no. Baez is like, no, don't do that. And he goes and he starts talking to them in whatever language they're in, and they're like, oh,
I mean, it's probably like some kind of dialect of the of Imperial
empire,
or
right,
whatever.
Imperial.
It's like it's actually like the hick, right? Because they're pioneers, so it's like the country.
Oh, it's hilarious.
they all sound like me.
Hey, y'all, you mind taking us to that wizard over there? So Baez is like, okay, yeah, they'll take us to Cornel. And Logan's like, who? But Baez doesn't even answer because he never does. And they go to this basically ramshackle building in this little village. And he's like, the Great Western Library. And it's like all dilapidated.
Yeah.
And so...
Well, it says like it's like with the rest of the empire, like they just have fallen into kind of decay. But like the building's still huge. It's like the same size as the Great Northern Library. But if you kind of think about it, the places, the temples resemble the Magi who inhabit it.
Interesting.
Because I mean, look what Khalul did with his Southern Library. I mean, it's just a theory,
Well,
but
we've
I'm
never
about
seen it.
99%. I know, but
We've
saying
had descriptions though.
I'm about 99% sure that the Great Northern Library is the Great Temple inside of Starkant or whatever.
Oh yeah,
because that's where all the eaters are made and shit. It's got to be the same. I mean,
Yeah,
I just
definitely.
totally could see that being the case. And then Baez is all clean and filled with servants and very, very secure. And then Cornelius is all the way out here in the middle of buttfuck nowhere and dilapidated and falling apart, and just interesting.
Okay.
I like that comparison. I've never thought about it that way.
Gotta imagine that the Southern Library is probably just it's probably like music going on.
Yeah,
it's popping. There's music, trying to cover over the screams of the eaten.
My moon in the house. The thrice blessed, thrice cursed, motherfucker.
DJ Eastwind, baby. Oh shit. Anyway, so they're waiting outside. I guess to go in. They're waiting outside the library before they could go in. The farmer that led them there just like. He
just fucks off.
Just fucks off.
And I love this eyeing them all with the deepest suspicion. And I love how after Baez knocks, it's just like Pharaoh's like, library? For books. What a waste of fucking time.
I bet Pharaoh's never read one goddamn paragraph in her life.
She doesn't know how to read. It probably put her in her head. She's like, she doesn't know how to read because it's a pointless, worthless skill.
Pharaoh hated reading.
And I like how right before that, Baez, when the farmer shuffles away with the suspicion, Baez is like, you simply just cannot get the help. He's just used to being
boomer.
He's used to being waited on hand and foot. And and another guy that's old as shit opens the door. It's like Logan's probably like, is this guy just at all the libraries?
It's the same guy. This guy too. It's like we would make fun of him, but he's basically just dead. So he opens the door, and if we did like face cam, it'd just be a blank stare.
Yeah, Baez is all like, "I am Baez, here to see Neo," and the servant's just like, his mouth is all dropped open, like, So Harrison, you want to give a little description on the inside, the interior of this library?
I kind of touched on it a minute ago, but it's kind of grand, but in the grand sense of like, oh, this is a really old building, but not in the sense of cleanliness. It's
dusty
hasn't been
fuck.
Yeah, it's dusty as shit. And it's not taken care of. There's no love put into it. There's like one servant in there, which is that old guy. It's just not really the place you'd want to hang out, which I find is interesting because Baez gets a little sad again because he said he trained here. This is like the place that he went to train and become good, which means it was after the pioneers settled. So timeline wise, I just think that's interesting for how old Baez is because I mean, we could totally guess, but the bridge, some of the bridges are 2,000 years old when the Empire was young. And seeing as these pioneers came a lot later, I don't know. Baez probably isn't 2,000 years old. He's probably like, well, he's not 3,000 years. He's probably more like 2,000 years old. But anyways. And then there's a woman who starts coming down from the stairs.
Yeah, you gotta like the introduction, right? Because
yeah,
because
I love how he says the lady of the house has retired to her couch, as if like she just doesn't get up from it.
Right, and then Baez is like, "Wake her ass up! I got no, we have no time." And then all you hear is, "Well, well, well, the hour grows dark indeed when old lovers come calling at my door." And it's like, whoa. I stay right out the gate. She's putting Baez on blast. Okay, and he's like trying to get to he's just trying to get to the heart of the matter. He's like, we have urgent things to discuss, and she's like, oh, do we indeed? She's like playing games, and Baez is like, oh God, I don't have time for this. And then she's there's like little back and forth, you would play the games with me for days. And he's like, that was long ago, things change. And then she gets pissed. She's like, things rot, you mean, motherfucker. But still, we must remain civil. It's like, oh, Jesus, what is going on here?
Yeah. And like in the darkness of the stairs and then this, old library from a distance, she's like, oh, she doesn't look that bad. And then she gets close and I was like, this bitch is old.
Yeah, she's at first he thought
like
she was
dyeing her
middle-aged.
hair and wearing a fuck ton of makeup. Like,
she looks at Logan. She's like, such rugged guests. She looks at Pharaoh, such exotic guests. And then she looks at Giselle, like, such comely guests. And just traces a finger across his chin. He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then she looks at Kwai, and she's like, this guest, not sure.
Yeah, I love that.
And then she's like, but you're all welcome to the Great Western Library. And it's like, okay, interesting. And then, time jump later, I guess they all go to their rooms. And Giselle is looking at a mirror, and he's about to shave. And he's just looking at it. He's like, Jesus Christ, he's changed, right? The pleasing symmetry is gone forever. His perfect jaw. You guys remember from the first book? The jaw of kings is fucked up now. It's skewed round sharply to the left, heavier on one side than the other. His noble chin was twisted at a slovenly angle.
Slovenly.
Love that word. And the scar on his top lip was no more than a faint line, but then it split in two and gouged brutally into the bottom one, dragging Jesus Christ. So he's like, at this point, he decides before he a single tear plops down into the basin. It's like, oh boy.
It's so traumatic.
But you know what? That he set his jaw. You know, he knows the damage is done, and there's no going back. Perhaps he's an uglier man, but he's a better man too. So he gives himself a shape up. Okay, if anyone from the hood knows, a shape up, you just kind of line things up. He wasn't gonna shave. He was not gonna be clean shaven no more because he's gonna need that beard to try to hide as much of that scar as possible.
Is that what a shape up is?
Yeah, you just line everything up.
Oh,
What you thought it was?
I'm being sarcastic. I have a beard.
No. Oh right, yeah, the shape. Yeah, that's right. It's traveled over to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay, got it.
Oh yes, the beards that were invented in Jersey. I forgot about that. No one ever had a beard before fucking Jersey.
What the fuck?
Harrison's just he's upset. He's still spicy. He's still hot from that whole Reddit thing, which we'll get to later.
Anyways,
calm down, Harrison.
They go to dinner.
No, I like how this is like the culmination of Giselle's like character arc. Over this book. Like he does look in the mirror. He finally does look in the mirror literally and say, you know, oh maybe it doesn't matter that much.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Yeah, like he's trying to come full circle with, what he was to what he is now. You know, it's like what Logan said. You know, what is it? A mace to the face did that boy some good. And so they all go to dinner, and it's not the best table fare. Let's just say.
It doesn't sound very good.
No, it does not. Do we even want to discuss it? It's just disgusting.
Oh, you're willing to discuss sex, but not gross food? Yeah. I'm in agreement. I agree. It's just basically when they bring out the first meal, and I imagine the first appetizer is like mediocre already. It's like they bring out the first plate, and you're like, okay, this is food. I guess I'm hungry. And then the next plate is like a little colder, and you're like, what the hell? Why is the soup cold? I don't want to eat this. And then the next meal comes out, and it's undercooked and cold, so you just feel like you're eating a piece of raw meat. And then the next meal comes out, and you're like, all these leaves are fucking soggy. Like, what the fuck, dude? But I guess I'm hungry. I guess I'll eat it.
And he's got the worst word ever to describe food in there, which is congealed.
Yeah.
I don't think there's no kind of congealed food that's good.
Nothing.
Perhaps maybe custard. I don't know. Is that congealed?
No, it's not congealed, and that's disgusting.
I don't fucking know, mate.
Yeah. I don't know. Congealed is just that's the worst word to use to describe some food. That's it.
Yeah.
And I like how the descriptions of everybody, like Baez and Colneal, are just staring at each other silently. Kwai is just picking at his food, but he's just constantly looking between the two magi. Longfoot is just eating everything like it's great. He's just like, nom, 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 this is delicious. Logan's confused on how to hold a fork.
Farrah's just stuffing her face with her hands.
She's staring aggressively at anyone who met her gaze as if daring them to tell her to not to. And then this part is great. She had on the same travel-stained clothes she had worn for the past week, and Giselle wondered for a moment if she had been provided with a dress to wear.
But she probably was. It's probably why she's all pissed off right now.
She probably stabbed the shit out of that dress. And then Baez basically asked Colonel, "Is the ship still seaworthy?" And everyone was like, "Oh, interesting." And she's like, "You mean the ship that Juvens and his brothers sailed to Shabulian? Shabulian." And then she's like, "No, it's not seaworthy. It turned to green mulch and blah, blah, blah. But then we built another and another and another. We have a ship, yes, basically." And then they start like snapping at each other. She's like, "I marked well my obligations." And Baez is like, "Meaning that I did not?" She's like, "I didn't say that. If you hear reproach, it's your own guilt." I was like, oh boy, here we go.
There really is nothing like a pair two exes fucking fighting one another after not seeing each other for 20 years. I know it's been like 500 years. I'm just
No, I hear you. And she's like, "It's history repeats itself. Brother fights brother. Juvens fought Glustrad, and then Canadius fought Juvens, and then Bias struggles with Kalul, smaller men in a bigger world. And he's just like, don't pretend you care. And she's like, I don't care. I admit it. I was never like you or Kalul, or even Zacharis or Yulai. I have no ambition, no arrogance. And then Bias like, no, just vanity and idleness. It's like, oh, God.
They are like children, like bickering with each other.
Seriously. And then she's like, I forgot. You're a straight talker because, cannot abide deception of any kind. You told me so just after you told me you would never leave me. And just before you left me to find another. It's like, oh, boy.
Fucking roasted.
And he's like, that's not my choice. You wronged me. She's like, I wrong you. And so, like Giselle said that on one side, Bias's anger was kind of pressing in on him. Now Cornel's anger is pressing on him. He's like, oh, fuck.
I do really like this conversation. Again, kind of like with the Tulkos conversation, there's a lot of subtext, especially with Pacey's performance. And you get such a good feeling, just like with Zacharis, of what kind of person she is. Like what Bias says is that she is, vain and like doesn't give a shit. She's just lazy and all that. She just lays around. You can tell by the state of her home that it's just, yeah, she's done her one thing, which is keep up a ship. That's it. Everything else fallen to ruin. Wasted her ability, hasn't done anything with it. But at the same time, she's basically pointing out that Bias is a dick.
He's a huge dick.
That's basically. Yeah, that's very succinct way of putting it. Bias is a dick.
She called him out. Go ahead.
I was just going to say one last thing, and that's the fact that how he's like, you betrayed me or whatever. And she just in a second says, well, Kalul was a better lover, implying that she cheated on Bias with Kalul, which is another reason probably why he hates his guts.
I bet you she was banging them both at the same time.
That's what I'm saying. And Bias found out, I was like, you fucking bitch. I'm going to Canadius. I'm going to go hang out with that guy.
Maybe that was the reason. The whole schism in the first place.
I mean, that's a good point. It might have been, and it's so far back behind, and like Cornel just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
At this point, like it's beyond her being involved anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bias has the best rejoinder here when Cornel says, like, this is one thing which I've never laid claim, and he says, perhaps then, sister, the one thing you have never laid.
Oh,
burn!
It's like, whoa.
Yeah, that in the chamber. He was upset because
I've been waiting to use that for 600 years.
Oh, staff drop. And, and like before that, we get a little exposition of like Ptolemy's talking about the day when they surrounded Canadius in the house of the Maker, and how he was whispering sweet nothings to Ptolemy, like, let us in. I love you, girl. I won't do nothing to you. We got to get in. We got to talk to your pops. We got to talk to your dad. She's like, wow, what wonderful words you use.
I'm just going to talk.
I'm just going to talk. Yeah. Come on, baby, let me in. You know it. I ain't going to do nothing to you. And then he shanks Canadius. But apparently not before Canadius threw his own daughter off the damn tower. Good Lord.
Canadius was like, hey, hang on 1 second. Ah! Now you can fight.
Yeah. And then so they're just no one cares about your stories, me least of all, and they're just glaring at each other in icy silence. And like Logan's chair squealed gently as he edged it cautiously away from the Pharaoh is just locked in. She's just suspicious. Quai's pissed for some reason, and Giselle's just holding his breath, like, "Oh fuck! He hopes that no one ends up on fire, especially him." And then Longfoot, that's right here. He's like, "Wow, I for one would like to thank our host for this excellent meal. Now that we are close," and then like the Magi are looking at him, and to our final destination. Never mind.
I love this implication that he is actually that oblivious.
He is.
Like, he's just been digging in this whole time. Everyone else watching this awkward argument, and then he looks up and he just goes and he's like, "Oh, shit."
Oh man.
Recognizing social cues is not one of my many remarkable talents.
Oh. Pharaoh sat naked. Oh, sorry. There's a bit of a time
Whoa.
jump.
Whoa.
Sorry. So there's a bit of a time jump, and Pharaoh's naked, sitting on the
That's
edge of
better.
she actually is on the floor though, right? I think.
Yeah, she is.
She's naked and she's looking around the room. She hates beds. She hates cushions, couches. Soft things make you soft, and she don't need that. And she's also frowning most of all at Nine Fingers, who's on the bed, laying on his back, and just. She's like, why has she fucked him, and why did she keep fucking him? She's like, she should have never touched him, but she needed no one. But that's what she told herself. She told herself she hated all these things, and her hatred could never fade. But it was hard to feel the same, actually, no matter how hard she tried. She's starting to feel something here, guys. This bed was not her enemy.
She's catching
Nine
feelings.
Fingers. Mm-hmm. So, and I like how she got up from the chair, patted over and slid down into it with her back to Nine Fingers, taking care not to wake him. Not for his sake, of course. And
Women.
and then
oh dear.
And then like he rolls over, he holds her, I think, right? And she's like, this just makes her feel good. And she's like, oh man, nothing good can't last. She's like waiting for the other shoe to drop, but she's enjoying the moment, for as long as it's gonna last. She's just, I guess she's on the lookout for it to go all wrong,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is very interesting for her because there's the way she goes about this with Nine Fingers. It's less about him, like him being there. It's more like he is a constant, and he is he's a warmth that she hasn't had in a long time, and so she's going to take it. She's going to appreciate that for what it is, and she's finally doing that here. But at the same time, it isn't specifically because it is Nine Fingers. She just is. Yeah, he's catching feelings for him, but because she's such on the lookout for it to go bad and wrong, she kind of sets herself up for failure, I guess, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, she's definitely self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
Or at least we think she's going to, too, right? So that is the end of our chapter, actually, because she's just there laying with Logan. What would you guys give this chapter?
Well, I do like this one. I do like the interaction with Cornel. We get a lot more of. We get Baez being like not in control for once. Like he doesn't have any control over what Cornel's going to say. And he's probably sat there like with his teeth gritted, going, "Oh God, this stupid bitch better not fucking." So I just
So
like
true.
seeing that. I think that's an interesting interaction. So I'm going to give this one an
loudmouth bitch.
8. Yeah.
What'd you say you're gonna rate it, George?
I always give this one an 8.
An 8. Nice.
Mm.
I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 9 fingers. The exposition was great. The comedy in this is just, mwah, I love it. And we get a little bit of perspective from everybody except Logan, I think. But other than that, I really enjoyed the chapter. Get to see, like, each magi that we've encountered, they represent something specific, do you know?
Yeah.
And here, you could say Cornel represents vanity and idleness, sure, but obviously we could see that Baez represents power or the desire for power, and you can see them like play off each other. I enjoyed it. Harrison?
Yeah, I'm gonna do an 8 as well. 8 out of 9, and the same reasons you guys said. We'll talk about here with a minute with Cornel, but there's so much good character work in these these last few chapters here that it's so hard not to rate all of them at like 8 and 9 because they're all really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the Pharaoh part at the end. It is such an interesting addition, and that adds so much character to her in that last scene. So yeah, 8 out of 9.
Good. I like that. And we'll move on to our character spot. You want to take it away?
Yeah, so Cornel. Cornel is
Cornel.
Cornel is our character spot. She's only in this chapter. In the entire series that we see her physically.
Joe is one and done with her.
The thing about Cornel and Zacharias and Yowei and Baez is I feel like there are all these kind of not stereotypes, but there are all these ways that old people end up going. There's her who is like, I have to stay young. I am still pretty, but I'm not actually gonna do anything worth my time. You know, I'm just gonna sit here and talk about how terrible life is, but then act like I don't care about anything and just completely out of touch and everything. And then there's Yowei, who is the caring older fella, although he is a little he lacks a little bit of foresight. And Bias is like the CEO old guy. He's like the guy who's somehow retained everything that he was whenever he was younger. And some things have gotten worse and some things have gotten better. And then there's Zacharias, who is like the old guy who has been doing the same job for the past 50 years and doesn't give a shit. He's kind of successful and kind of interesting, but also he's kind of a loser. And I love that we kind of just top it off with Cornel here and her subtleties. And she lost her friends inside of the war too. She lost her other friends whenever they fought Canadius. Her Baez and her obviously had a big falling out. Obviously, her and Khalul had a big falling out. So whereas she is kind of lazy, compared to, she has a point, and that's the fact that she hasn't been naughty other than sexually. Like she hasn't fucking gone off the deep end. I'm gonna eat people and I'm gonna rule the world. She's just like chilling, and everyone's like, "Oh, you wasted her powers." Blah 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 blah. But I mean,
that's what I'd do.
Yeah.
If I was a little powerful wizard, I'd just hide at the corner of the world and just be like, "Yeah, this is all right."
Just chill.
Yeah,
I mean,
chill.
I would obviously have better food, but yeah.
That's true.
You can't isolate yourself and have shitty food. What kind of fucking life?
I like to think that Cornel is just spiteful and she just went there, make the food as shitty.
Oh, you think she gave him terrible fare on purpose?
Normally she has world-class food.
I love that.
It's the best fucking first loss theory I've ever heard.
I love it.
Look out for that video on YouTube.
It's coming in.
It would just be this 30-second clip of us talking.
We just recycle it. All right, that's a good. Is that it for the character spot?
What do you have to? You have anything to add? I know I went on a.
No, I mean
I do find it quite interesting that she cares so much about the way she looks. Like, she's like you say, she pretends not to care, but then she dyes her hair and puts a load of makeup on and whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
The Mage's equivalent of a fucking facelift or whatever.
Yeah, and she doesn't know. She doesn't know they're coming either. So
yeah,
she just does that every day.
Yeah, exactly.
I would think that as a mage, maybe her special power would be to regenerate youthful appearances or something.
I don't think so, because whenever she gets close by, Giselle can tell that she is pretty old.
No, I know. I'm saying I would think that would be what she would put her magic to use, is what I'm saying. She's so vain.
Oh, no. It does make you wonder. Her and Zacharias are the ones that failed. They both got like almost killed by the Maker, and judging by Zacharias' powers of being, like obviously he's got some combat powers. Otherwise, I mean, they all do. And but he's got birds and shit, so it makes you wonder like what her specialty is.
Right, like we know he can talk to animals, essentially communicate with them, and obviously, like you said, some kind of power to use for combat. And I don't know, but we don't know what Cornel does.
Actually, there is one thing I thought of, and that's the fact that they said her voice was silky smooth, and I wonder if she's got some kind of power of persuasion. Which,
like the golden voice, like Karub has.
Mm-hmm, yeah, like she knows how to manipulate the mind to a certain degree. It's just obviously it was pointless to do here. She obviously doesn't use her powers hardly ever. It's like whatever, but it would explain much later on why she's a benefit in a certain area.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Total guesswork.
Okay. Okay, interesting. Anything else to add, George?
No, it's all good.
Alrighty. All right, so we'll move on to our third chapter read through, and then we'll go right into our fourth right after that as well. This one's Before the Storm. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready for battle. We are with West from his perspective. He's in the tent with General Polder, General Croy, and Marshal Burr, and they are ready to go. Polder's like, my men are ready. Well, Croy's like, my men are ready. Polder's like, good show. Bethod's gonna have no choice but to battle us soon.
I love how different that Joe like portrays Polder and Croy. I love how like Polder slaps his thigh with great aplomb, and then Croy is lifted his chin 1 regulation inch. It's just like so specific and gets those characters across so quickly.
It's great. Yeah, I love it. And Harrison, you want to say? I thought you were going to say something.
What?
Oh, I thought I heard you. Sorry.
I actually got to forget a drink of water. I'm sorry. I was hoping I could sneak back, but then as soon as I came back, I heard, Harrison, you want to say anything?
I just thought you said something. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Cut that bit out.
Cut that bit out. Cut it out. And then Burr is like, luckily for us, the architects who built the fortress at Dunbreck also did a great job in mapping the surroundings. And we also have a group of Northmen that have defected to our cause, and they've given us some information. And then Croy's like, why should we believe the word of a pack of northern dogs who have no loyalty even to their own king? And then Wes is like, he's like very monotonous here. He's like, had Prince Ladislaw been more willing to listen to them, sir, he might still be with us, as might his division. Wes is just he doesn't care anymore. I mean, the guy's
just completely given up.
Yeah, he don't give a fuck. And like Croy stares at him, and Wes is just staring it back, like what? Like he murdered a prince. He bit somebody's face off. Like he don't care. He watched the girl he had the hots for get railed by some northerner. So like he doesn't give a fuck anymore. And
God, it's just so moral.
Oh God,
we'll get into that later, Harrison.
Harrison, hold on.
Oh,
Jesus. And so they talk about Bethod holds Dunbrick and its position over the only significant road. Harrison or George, you want to talk about like the positionings, like the battle lines that are about to be drawn up?
This is your forte, Harrison.
Yeah, I know you like this stuff.
Yeah, so basically Dunbreck, the road that leads up to Dunbreck, is situated in a valley where there are trees and hills on either side. And then the Dunbreck actually sits on the river between like where it joins together, which is and judging by how they describe it, it's a pretty advanced fortress. But as we talked about in the last week, Bethod's not going to hide in there, so they all know he's going to be out and about somewhere. So Burr's plan is to have Croy's division march straight down the valley to try to lure Bethod into a confrontation. But since they actually have maps and know what they're doing this time, he's going to send Polder with his division on the left flank into the trees just ahead of Croy's. That way, when they engage, he can come in on the flank and take him out. And then Polder's all like, "Oh, that's right. My cavalry will run them down." But Wes blankly says, "No, actually, all your cavalry is going to be back with the Lord Marshal in reserve to kind of counter anything that might, Bethod might try to bring up or plan or whatever." So this is all infantry formations that they have laid out with the cavalry in reserve.
And Polder's not happy about that.
No.
And now it's Croy's turn to like smile, like
Well, I do love it when he's like, Polder, you'll move up your division just ahead of Croy's, and he's like, just ahead, eh? And he's like looking at Croy and like trying to bait him out. Like, what
He's fucking like raising those eyebrows and shit, like, up and down.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, what do you? So stupid.
Oh man, that's hilarious. And what else is there? Hold on, I'm gonna cut this bit out.
Well, like,
And so after they kind of come up with a plan. Bird just also lets them know there's been some reports that Bethon might have some reinforcements. Crazy motherfuckers. Just keep an eye out. All right.
Just some wild people.
Savages.
Nothing,
So,
yeah,
I like how they do just shrug that off, don't they? Just some manner of wild men.
Yeah, just watch out, guys. Watch your flanks,
You can't exactly turn around and say, by the way, these Shanker things you heard about, they are real and they're coming. You're going to meet them tomorrow. just so you know.
There's a possibility that savages, like monsters from the old time, might be coming out of the forest. But don't concern yourself.
Horrific gibbering monsters that have metal bolted to their body. Just don't worry about it.
But keep your eyes open though, and keep your flanks screened.
We have no idea how many there are, so good luck with that.
And then they leave, and then Wes is like, "Do you think they're gonna follow orders?" And I'm like, "Yep," because they're not gonna let the other one outperform the other. You know, like they're not gonna take that chance. And then 3 Trees and Dogman. They walk up to 3 Trees and Dogman, and 3 Trees is like, "Smells like battle to me." He's like, "Yep." Half the army is going down the valley. The other half is going into the trees to surprise them before they can get away. 3 Trees is like, "Nice, gets a good plan." The Dogman's like, "Yep, nice and simple." And Wes is like, "Oh, I can't even look at this guy." And then, and then he's like, "Are you sure we can trust it?" And the 3 Trees is like, "Yeah, as sure as we can be." And then they deserve a rest, so West arrange a position for them at the far end of the line, the far left, at the end of General Polder's division, in the trees in the high ground, so they should be well out of the action. Safest place in the whole army tomorrow. Dig in and make yourself a fire, and if things go right, we'll talk again over Bethod's dead body. And 3 Trees like, "Now that's my language. I like that. Take care, Furious. Peace out, homie." And then we hear a Colonel West, and then from behind, and West is like, "Shit." He knows who it is.
He's like, "This bitch."
It's Cathal. It's Cathal, and he's like, and he knows. He's talking to himself. He's like, "It's unfair." He knows that he has no rights over her or anything, but it just made it worse. All he could think of was the side of Dogman's face and her grunting, so horribly surprising, so horribly disappointing. And he's cold. He's like, "You better go with them. Safest place." And then she goes, "It was you, wasn't it? Outside the tent the other night." And he's like, "Yes, I'm afraid it was. I had no idea you would be who you would be with. I just wanted to check to see if you needed something." And she's like,
and
"Well,
then he just the dog man.
The dog man, him. I mean, why?" And she's like, "I know you must think." He's like, "You have no need to explain yourself to me. Who cares what I think? I don't care what you choose to fuck." He said, "What? Not who." And then she goes, "I didn't mean, well, look, like, I owe you a lot. I know. It's just that you're too angry for me. That's all." And then he just, as she walks away, she was happy to bed that stinking savage, but West was too angry. It was so unfair. He almost choked on his rage.
This part is like the firm reminder that West is trying to become a better person, but this is like the most classic nice guy thing to happen. It's
yes.
Like, I saved her life,
right?
It's incel behavior. Yeah, he's like, "I saved her life," and well, he knows in his head, like, "Oh man, I shouldn't be this way." Like everybody knows that you shouldn't act that way. But guess what? He doesn't just not say anything or treat her differently. He gets upset with her still, and it's like, "That savage." Like, what, bro? What?
Especially because didn't Dogman save his life?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, Dogman saved his life. Right after the battle. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also he fucking says, "I was just gonna go check on you." Oh fuck! No, you weren't. You planning to go fucking have sex with her, bro? Come on. It's like,
and I love how he asks like why, and then when she starts to explain, like he just goes, "Oh, actually, no, I don't care anymore." Mm-hmm. Like you don't have to explain yourself to me. Like that's just so petty and like childish.
I could read this little story on the internet. There's tons of these stories out there. This guy takes me out to dinner. We have a good time. I don't want to sleep with him yet. He gets mad, beats me. Like, like that's the kind of shit. That's the kind of shit. Like, well,
what kind of stories are you reading, Harrison?
I'm just saying. That's the kind of nice guy bullshit. Like you don't deserve anything. It's like, I don't know. Anyways,
Okay. All
but
right.
he is the most moral person out there. So
Oh my God, Harrison, just wait.
There's one more chapter, and then you can do that.
One more chapter, all right? Jesus,
All right,
just
all right.
relax. Take
all
it
right, it just
easy.
fits so well. It's just so close.
It's so close. All right, so he choked on his rage, and that was the end of the chapter.
What
do you
would you
guys-
rate that chapter,
Yeah,
Jeff?
Harrison, I wonder what do you rate that chapter first?
I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
rate it a 3 out of 9.
Fucking do it.
It's really short. It always pisses me off because it's like, Wes, you're trying to become a better person. So what kind of bullshit is this? Like, come on, bro. And then I like the little battle setup, but that's really all it is, and this little character moment. So I just don't. It's not much of a chapter for me.
Right. Okay. George.
I think I'd give it the same, the 3.
Yeah. I would give it the same too. I was thinking the same.
Trifecta.
Trifecta, baby. You know, like Harrison said, not much went on. Like, you gotta love the battle formulation. The Croy and Polders like sniping at each other, and then Wes just being like such an incel. Yes, a dick.
Such an incel.
So, but you know, not much happens. And I like how Dogman's like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" And Wes is like, I seen your ass cheeks."
Here's the other thing too: is if Dogman, if it was vice versa, Dogman wouldn't even be upset, bro. He'd be like, "Oh, it is what it is.
Yeah. He'd be like, "All right, yeah."
She can fuck who she wants."
Yep. Good for her. Good for him. But Wes is like, "It should have been me."
I should have been the one to put my twig in the fire.
Oh man,
I'm not even that angry, that bitch.
I really shouldn't be angry, but you slept with that savage.
I'm totally fucking fine. It's not like I wanted to shove my cock in your mouth.
Whoa! You're right though.
That's Wes. That's Wes. Dude. Holy shit, George.
Oh,
Fucking
man.
hell, Jeff. Where'd that come from?
I don't know. I'm just trying to pretend to be Wes.
Jeff always gets that way. He gets ramped up. The more you go find with a joke, he just gets worse and worse.
It's how I be, baby. All right, so we'll move on to our fourth and final chapter read through, and then Harrison's gonna blow his load. This one's questions.
Bad choice of words.
Well, West wish he did with Cathal. We start off with Colonel Glockta charging into his dining room in a tremendous hurry. Damn it, he couldn't. He was fumbling with the buckle on his sword belt, and then Shekel's like, "Do you need some help with that?"
No, I do not need bloody help.
He's like, "What I need is for someone to explain what the hell's going on here. This is a disgrace. I will not have members of my regiment sitting around naked, especially with such unsightly wounds. Where's your uniform, girl?" Basically, the man's having another dream. Yeah, go ahead. So, George, what do you want to say about the dream?
I love how Joe just captures how surreal these dreams are. Like, you just see Shekel and he's like, "This person must be in my unit." What?
Where is your uniform, girl?
Yeah. Oh, and that was it.
Oh, that was it. Okay, just want to make sure. So, the answer is
Thump, thump, thump.
thump, thump, thump. And then Glockta wakes up. He's like, "What the fuck?" And then he's like, yes, I hear. I'm crippled, not deaf. I can hear you." And then it's Vitari. She's like, "Then open the bloody door."
Because Vitari is related to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Basically.
Good little chopper.
And so he has to get up from bed. His muscles are spazzing out. He has to open the door. He's like, "Fuck, what?" And but before that, he's like, "Well, you just can't stay away. What is your fascination with my bedchamber?"
I fucking love the exchange. Then you must be wet between the legs right now. Surprisingly, no. You look like that. I fucking love the way she says that. Surprisingly, no. Because that normally would arouse her.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious. And then, apparently she basically tells him that Salt needs to see him right now. So he's like, "Okay," at this time. So that means something bad's going on. So they're going to the palace because they see the Knights of the Body, the king's personal guard, right? And Where are they going exactly? They're going to like
They're going to the palace.
No,
So
I'm sorry. I got distracted. Hold on.
I
It's
also,
like
why are you
we
looking
got
at that?
the palace, and Vitari's like, "No, the slums, you fucking genius."
And that before that too, he's like, Salt wants you. He's like, now? Oh no, we can take our time. You know how he is.
This is
Glock is
Vitari
not-
at peak sarcasm.
Yeah,
I know,
Glocka
it's-
is not doing well right now. He just woke up. And so yeah, they're going to the palace. They get to the palace. You know, there's a bodyguard. There's a lookout. He's like, what are you guys doing here? He's like, I'm Superior Glocka. It's not my idea. What the fuck? Just come on, chop chop. Our selector's expecting us. You know that. I already told you when I came out here. He's like, it's just a matter of protocol. He's like, can you just get the fucking door open?
I love it. It's just like, if it were possible for a man in full armor to appear hurt, he did.
He's like, I'm just trying to do my job, man. Come on, bro.
So they go through the palace. They go up to these like set of up some stairs. Glocta struggles as usual, and they see there's like a worried looking group around the door. A knight of the body is sitting in a chair. He's bent over. He's stressed. He is stressed the fuck out, and he goes up to Vitari. Doesn't go along with him, but Glocta walks up, and the three men look up at Glocta, and it's an interesting group. It's Lord Chamberlain Hoff with a nightgown, right? Lord Marshal Varuz and High Justice Morovia, and they are not looking happy. They are not looking happy at all. And they're like, well, Morovia's like, in there, a terrible business, terrible. Whatever shall be done. And Glocka's like, what? It's a bedchamber, and it's a beautiful one, right? Just all this furniture. It's a palace, after all. And Archlector Salt is standing in the center of the room, and he's just like staring on the other side of the bed at the floor, and he's like, what's going on? Glocta walks up to him. He's like, Your Eminence. Then he's like, blood. Interesting. And turns out it's Crown Prince Reynaud. He got murdered. He got fucked up.
Bum, bum, bum.
The throat had been badly mauled. One leg was broken and bent in half on itself. Jesus Christ. One hand was curled up. The other was torn off.
Those damn bears. Oh, sorry, my bad.
Those damn
Dogs.
Dogs. And now it's like great. And it was funny how Glocta's like, oh, Crown Prince Reynaud has been murdered. And Lecter, Archlector is like, oh, very good.
Just for such insights that I sent for you.
A tragedy, an outrage. Thank you. Fuck. And he's like, that's the far from the worst of it. The king has no siblings. Do you understand? That means he has no heirs. So when the king dies, what do you think our next ruler is going to come from? He's like, uh-oh.
It's game over, man.
From the open council. He's like, an election. The open council. He's like, fuck. And they are now popular with the open council after what they did with the Mercers and the Spicers and everything. He's like, so how's the king's health? He's like, not good. It's like all our work can be undone. So they got to start making friends. They got to curry enough favor. They got to buy votes, blackmail them, coax them. They got to do all this stuff. And he's got to figure out which candidate they need to align themselves with. And you guys want to talk some more about this whole like part where like worrying about who they need to back or they need to like who they need to get on their side and why it's so important to find the prince's murderer right now.
Yeah, I do like the fact that he comes in, like when Glocta comes in, the first thing that Salt starts talking about is like, oh, we are fucked. We are absolutely fucked. Like there's going to be an election, and it's not just like, oh, we need to find out who the prince's murderer is because somebody's killed the prince. It's just like, no, we are fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he doesn't even care about the prince dying. He just is like, oh man, now we gotta have an election. I do think it's interesting that the open council has this like election thing to put somebody in. It's like the only real, I would say it's the only now in the modern day of the first law, it's the only real power that the open council has. I like how they imply that's all they really, this is why it's so bad, is because everyone fucks over the nobles in the high council because they and the close council, sorry, because what are they gonna do? But now the power is back in the hands of the nobility, which is, I don't know, it's just an interesting dynamic how they have that, how Joe has added this aspect of the government in there.
Mm.
You might say it's the only democratic proceedings of this whole monarchy, right?
Yeah, yeah, I would I would say that it is. Yeah.
That's funny. And then so they got to start the investigation, and Glockton notices something in the hand of Reynald, and he grabs it, and it's a piece of white cloth with some gold thread. He's like, I have seen this before.
Yeah, and it's like it's almost too easy. It's like cartoonishly easy. How like Raynor just happened to get a little bit of this guy's robe. Ooh.
So you're telling me this man got his ass whipped by a bear, but managed to grab a piece of cloth? Okay, so then there's a bit of a time jump, and Glockta's with Frost, and they're also with the envoy Tulkas. Oh boy, they're in a room. They black bag
Old
Tulkas. Poor Tulkas. And he's confused because he's like, why the fuck am I here? And there's a small hole in the back behind Glockta where Archlector, he's like watching what's happening.
Yeah,
And,
have you ever seen like a police show or like a crime show? This is the interrogation room.
Yeah, basically. And Salt's watching through. And so basically they're accusing Tulkas of the murder of Crown Prince Reynald. And he's like, Jesus Christ, that's terrible. But is this really all necessary? I'm not... Like, is there going to be first of all, is there a difference if I'm innocent of any part of the crime? It's like, well, they found a piece of his cloth, and it matches exactly with the tear in a garment found in your chambers. A garment also stained liberally with blood. And Tulkas is like, what the fuck? And then here, Tulkas goes, he's like, listen to me. If the prophet and his agents found out what I'm up to, they'll stop at nothing to ruin it because they want war. I'm trying to get peace. Understand that if you punish me for this crime, you're going to be insulting the emperor. You're going to slap away the hand of friendship, and he will swear vengeance. Just please, I beg of you, don't do this. And then Glockta he's conflicted, right? They put the
He's seen enough guilty people to know when he actually has an innocent one.
Yeah,
right.
And this is actually like not only is he an innocent man, he's also like the way he speaks and how honorable he is and what his goals are. He's a good man as well. Like he's not like some of the other people who, they may be innocent in the crime that Glockter's accusing him of, but they're also an a-hole, so whatever. Now this guy is genuinely a good guy, and he didn't do it either, and he is potentially an ally of greater importance.
And Glockta's not sure what to do here. He slides the confession. He's like, will you sign it? And he's like, I am innocent. He's like, that's not my question. Will you confess? And he's like, I cannot. And they stare at each other for a while. And Glockta's like, what do I do here? Like, if this man could climb over the wall of the palace and in through the window of the prince, he could have just left. Why would he have stayed?
Yeah.
And especially just put his bloody clothes back in the wardrobe. Like, I'll just hang this in, I'll clean this later, and I'll wear it another time. And then so he goes, one moment, and he gets up and he goes out of the room, and the Archlector's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm trying to find the truth. And he's like, you're trying to find what?
You're blathering about what?
Closed counsel are waiting for a confession. And he's like, and Glockta's like, what if he's not lying? What if he is innocent? What if the emperor does desire peace? And he's like, did you lose your teeth in Gurkul or your fucking mind?
Yeah, he's all like, who cares the shit? Who's innocent? What concerns us now is what must be done.
Ink on paper, you crippled shred of a man. You like this part,
Then we
George?
can get done with this and go to licking asses in the open council.
George, you like this part where he goes, you crippled shred of a man.
Yes. This is some of the best insults we get from Salt. He's just like, did you lose your teeth or your fucking mind?
Yeah.
It's just like angrier and angrier and angrier. It's like, what the fuck? I absolutely love it.
Just get in there, damn you, and make him sign. And then there's a bit of a time jump later. And Glockta gets out of his room. And he meets Severard, and he's like, has he signed? He's like, of course. He's not an eater, not like Schickel was, and that sucks. And so that means they got him to sign. And he still needs to ask questions, though. So he sets Severard to find the guard that was at the prince's chambers last night. He's like, even though Server's like, but why? We have the confession. He's like, I don't care. Just bring him in. He's like, all right, you're the boss. One night of the body coming right up. And that was it. That's the end of the chapter. What do you guys think about this chapter?
Yeah, so this chapter is kind of sad because for anybody who says Joe is like, oh, he's all about grimdark, he's about the worst and the worst and the worst, only bad things happen. Well, this just shows his restraint as a writer because he doesn't show us him torturing an actually good innocent man. He skips over it, and the main character, even though he's a cunt, is sad about it because even he knows it's wrong. And I appreciate that he skips over it for this part because that's not the point of it. The point of it isn't to be like, oh, look how brutal this is. Oh, the world's just so cruel. It's more like there's a lot of other shit going on here, and look where everybody has their priorities. Because even Tolkis himself knows that what's going on. He's like, oh god, they think I'm an eater. They think that I killed him. In fact, that's exactly what my side wants too. Listen, Glockter, we're on the same team, you and I. Like all the big politics stuff, they're all trying to cause war and more deaths. Let's not do that. Work with me on this. And Glockter can't, and that sucks. Mm-hmm. So I give this a 7 out of 9 because it is. I just think it's really interesting to see how they interact. It's really kind of crazy that the prince dies. It kind of changes up the entire dynamic of the story. Yeah. It adds a lot of tension. I love the Vatari stuff. We get the practicals. It's just I think it's a really, really solid political chapter.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I'll give it a 7 and a knuckle. Really enjoy it for everything. Like, all the reasons you said, the moving parts that are coming out, are coming along in this chapter. There's a lot that's going to have to be reckoned with. There's a lot of ramifications here in this chapter. So it's going to be exciting. George, what do you rate it?
Yeah, I agree with you, Jeff. I'm going to say a 7 and a knuckle, but for the reasons that Harrison is saying, because these is genuinely one of the worst things that happens in this series.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a genuinely good person who wants to avoid needless bloodshed and all this conquest just for somebody's fucking ego, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And Glockter can't do anything about it, and it is horrible. It just makes you feel awful, and writing that is worse than writing anything else, I think.
Yeah. Good point, George. Good point. Nice.
Which is a good thing that we got all the comedy out of the way in the first half of the chapter, because there's nothing funny about the second half.
Nothing. I mean, it was funny in this, like you said, the first half of the chapter, and then it's like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Poor Tolkis.
So yeah.
7 and a knuckle. Thank you, Georgie. All right. So now we will move on to what Harrison has been anxiously waiting, our next segment, which is the community interaction segment. Harrison, feel free to take it away.
So we did another poll. Tam Albor, who is, as an announcement as well, since we're here, community interaction segment, Tam Albor will be coming on as one of our guest spots, and we'll be bringing back we'll be bringing back somebody else, and then having another new person come on for our guest spots in between the chapters. But he gave me the idea that we should do the most moral, the most upright person. So I just thought of the top 5, and then I knew people were gonna freak the fuck out. So I went ahead and put down other for whoever wanted most ones. They can just comment. I'm not saying that these are the only options. I literally can only do 6 options, guys. I can only do 6. I would do every single person and just see what everyone said if I could, but I cannot. All right. But I even put inside of the description, I said, I'm not including Haddish Kadia because he would win. Don't sleep on Temple or Giselle because by the end, they're both really good people. So on that, we had about a little less than 600 votes. Dogman won with 179, with 3 trees coming in right behind Yulway, Temple, and then Giselle. And then there were 41 comments for other. So, to be clear, 3 trees is a good guy. And number 2, this poll is not a for fact thing. Some people are in here I can't believe people think that 3 trees is somehow a worse person than Dogman. This is just a popularity contest. I mean, it's just a joke, guys. It's just for conversation. There's no need to get super serious with it. The only comment that was actually oh, that doesn't make any sense, and that was the gentleman who said that Wes should have been on here. And yeah, does he try to be a pretty good person? Yeah, he does, but so does a lot of other people. And the things that he does are pretty bad, as we discussed just earlier in the chapter. He's a fucking nice guy. You should have slept with me because I saved your life kind of guy. He fucking beats his sister. Yeah, he feels bad about it, but so Logan kills all his friends and feels bad about it too. It doesn't mean their actions aren't granted. Like, they still did those things. West is not a fucking hero, all right? Most of these people aren't. And people who are like, well, the dogman just sat by and let Logan fucking kill people. Yeah, so did Three Trees, bro. Everybody did. Everybody, Yulwei kind of knew Baez's actual plans and kind of did not. He sat by. Doesn't mean he didn't try to still be a good person. Zhao, yeah, he couldn't do anything for a super long time because of his position, but he did try to be a good person. But I don't know. The point is I put out this poll to create conversation, and it worked. But some of you guys were a little serious. You guys were like, man, this my guy wasn't on there. And somebody still said Hadish Kadia wasn't on here. I'm like, yeah, I know. I said we weren't going to include him because he'd blow everybody out of the water. But I'm glad
there's some really interesting choices in the comments, like Malma, which I get at the beginning. I get in a little hatred, but by the end, I don't know. He's interesting.
Judging by how people are too, I'm surprised nobody said Pike.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Pike is actually one of the most moral characters in the series. If we going up by first loss.
If you're talking from like utilitarianism, yeah.
I am. Yeah, right. Yeah, there's all these different ways of. That's the other thing too, is that there are all these different ways of viewing morality, and everyone wants to think that their version of morality is the set path. That's not what this was for. I didn't post this to be like, clearly the Dogman is the most morally upright character. This is just a great conversation. So thank you for all of those who were civil. Everyone who was all smart ass, like, we got it. You have your opinion. So next week we'll do the the worst person in the series, and I probably won't include Beth Thought, and everybody will still comment Beth Thought, despite me saying we won't include Beth Thought. I'm not Beth Thought, sorry. Bias, my bad.
Okay, got a lot off your chest there, Harrison. All right.
I just don't know why they were so angry, Jeff. I just want people to talk to each other.
Oh, it's okay, Harrison.
There you go. This will make you angry, Jeff. Somebody said, no word of Bly.
Oh God. I'm not even. I'm better. I'm better now.
Probably, who was that? It was probably the Bloody Niner. That bastard.
It probably was the Bloody Niner. Oh shit. All right. That's our show, everyone. We want to thank you all for listening and supporting this podcast. As you all know, this is a passion project for the three of us, and your support really does mean a lot to us.
Join us next time as we cover Holding the Line.
And make sure you follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on Reddit, and we have a website. It's circleoftheworld.com.
And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or any podcast app that you use. And please make sure to rate and review this podcast as it helps to spread our reach. Thank you all again for listening.
Books. Waste of fucking time.